Now to connect the three together in order to explain better the present, past and future tense. Let's take an example of a house. Okay. All right. Now let's start with present tense. How do you describe something in present tense? We say, this is a house. This is a house. This is a house. What is? When I say it, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the house. All right. So instead of saying the house again, I'm using the word it. This is a house. It is very small. It is very small. Now, whenever I'm talking about the house, the outside, the of the house, the outside, only the house itself, I'm talking about the house itself. That is why I'm using the verbs is. Now, when I'm talking about the contents, what it possesses, what it holds, then I'm not using is, I'm using the house has. Now, I'm talking only about, then I'm saying is, but I'm not talking about the house here. I'm talking about what it possesses. So I say the house has 2 bedrooms. Okay. Now, when do I use the word has? When I'm not talking about the house, the outside house or the physical house, I'm talking about what it possesses. So it has 2 bedrooms. It also has a garage. Okay, let's just think this is a car. Okay, it has a garage. I'm not so good in drawing, but I hope you understand. Let me just write it down. This is a garage, there is a car inside. So it has. Right now I'm not talking about the house. I'm talking about what it possesses or what it has. It has 2 bedrooms. Now again, if I want to shift to talk about the house, about the house, I will be using is again. The house is beautiful. Okay, the house is beautiful. Now again, I'm talking about the house. Again, if I want to talk about the contents, now the house itself, I'm saying is in present tense, but I'm talking about the contents, then I'm saying has. It has. The house has a garden outside. Garden outside. So it has. I'm talking about the contents of it. It is a house. It is very small, it is beautiful, but it has 2 bedrooms, it has a garage, it has a garden. So let's draw the garden here. Okay, there are beautiful flowers in the garden. Now, you understood that when I talk about the house itself, I say is. When I talk about the contents, I say has. So now we are going to wipe this. Okay. Now, 1 sentence, 2 sentences, 3 sentences about the house, 4 sentences, 5 sentences, 6 sentences. The 7th will be, I'm changing it a bit. I'm saying there are many flowers, or there are many flower pots in the garden. Okay. Now, when I say the house itself, I say is. When I talk about what it possesses or the contents, I say has. But I'm numbering something which is there inside. Then I say there are many flower pots in the garden. There are tables and okay, there are inside what is there. When I'm mentioning what is there inside, I'm using the term there are. There are many chairs in the house. There are. All right. More, number of, plural, number of flower pots. There are many, plural, many chairs. But if there is just one item, there is an antique table. Antique table in the house. So, what am I saying? There is a table. I don't want to confuse you. There is a table. There is a big table. Table in the house. So there's just one table. So I say is. So we need to keep singular and plural in mind. All right. We will come back to this. Now, this is all about present tense. I'm talking about a house that is there right now. Now. So that's why we use this as a present tense. This is a house. It is very small. The house has 2 bedrooms. It also has a garage. The house is beautiful. The house has a garden outside. There are many flower pots in the garden. There are many chairs in the house. There is one. There is a. So we don't say one. We say a. All right. We don't say a. We say a. Instead of one, we say a. There is a big table in the house. So this is present tense. Right now, if the house is there. But for example, this is, instead of saying this is a house, this is my house. Okay. Now, if this is my house, all of this I mention it in the present tense. But now if I have to use past tense, now we're going to change it with the red marker. This is no more my house. So somebody else has bought it. So I'll say this was my house. Okay, it was very small. Instead of saying is, because it is no more, it is a thing of the past. Once upon a time it was my house, but now it is not my house. Somebody else has purchased it. So I'm talking about the past. This was my house. It was very small. The house, instead of has, what am I saying? Past tense. The house had 2 bedrooms. The house had, instead of saying has, I'm talking about past tense. It also had a garage. The house, now in present tense I'll say is. In past tense I'll say the house was beautiful. The house had a garden outside. Now everything I'm talking about the past tense. There are in the present tense. So now I will say there were many flowers, flower pots in the garden. There were, it is no more are because it is a thing of the past. So there were many chairs in the house. There is, instead of is, I'm turning it into a past tense. So is will become was. There was a big table in the house. So if you go through the list of past tenses, is, was, has, had, eat, ate, walk, walked. So there is a huge list of past tenses, and if you learn those, and if you learn the sentence structure, you can make a paragraph in present tense, compare it by rewriting it in past tense, and then after this we're going to move on to rewrite the same passage about a house in the future tense. Now we spoke about right now if there is a house, we spoke how we can write about a passage about the house about now, present tense. We also said if it is no more your house, we are talking about past tense, how we can talk in the past tense. Now we spoke about present tense about the house, past tense about the house. We're going to talk about future tense. Now how do we talk? How do we convert this into future tense? So instead of saying this was, I'm talking now about a house that is not existing. Sometime in the future, probably next year, I will buy a house. So it's from now, after now. That's the future tense. It is not yet come. It will come in the future. So I will say, if I, for example, I just draw a house and I say, this will be my house. This will be my house. It will be. It will be very small. The house will have 2 bedrooms. It will also have a garage. The house will be beautiful. So every time there is or was, I'm changing it to will be. But every time there is has or had, I'm using the term will have. The house Now here in the past tense it is had, but for the future tense I'm saying the house will have a garden outside. That's my plan. So there were in the past tense already existed, but I'm talking about something that is not existing as of now. It will have. So there will be many flower pots in the garden. There will be many chairs in the house. There will be a big table in the house. So now we know how to use a passage and compare it by writing and rewriting present tense, past tense passage and a future tense passage. Same house, but the way we use grammar, grammatically we are making a few changes in order to talk in the present tense, in the past tense and in the future tense. All right. Also, when we use present tense, past tense, future tense, singular and plural is also very, very important. So, singular, plural. Singular is, plural are. Singular has, plural have. Singular comes, she is, she has, she comes. They are, they have, they come. Okay. Eat, drink, move, reach. Now, singular, rich, plural will be reach and singular will be reaches. She reaches here by 10 o'clock. They reach here by 10 o'clock. Singular will be eats. She eats on time. They eat on time. He drinks a lot of water. They drink a lot of water. She moves quickly. The bike moves quickly. The bikes move quickly. All right. So in most of the singular verbs or action words there will be S, and in plural there will be no S. Sometimes there will be ES. There will be no ES. All right. So let's make sentences. She is pretty. Singular. Now instead of she we can say the girl. The girl is pretty, but in plural it will be the girls are pretty. She has long hair. They have long hair. She comes on time. Singular. They come on time. So the only difference is S. There is S here in singular. There is no S here in the action word. He eats a lot. They eat a lot. It. Now, when we say it, we know that it's either non-living things or animals. So let's consider a cat, which we call it. It drinks milk. Now, if there are more cats, plural, they drink milk. The bike, singular bike, one bike. The bike moves fast. The bikes, more bikes, plural. The bikes move, there is no S, move fast. She reaches at 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock. They reach at 10 o'clock. So most of the time in singular there will be S in the action word, and in plural there will be no S in the action word when we are using singular and plural sentences.